Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Are you guys ready for a little magazine flip through? So I just want to kind of explain real fast. My filming schedule, I always try to pre-record at least more than a day in advance. And I have to tell you that I have been so busy preparing for when we go to Hawaii that I have not had a chance to pre-record for the today's the 13th. So what I'm trying to say is that a video for Monday I would have had done before the weekend, and it is like on the deadline to have this video done, and I'm just now doing it. Oh, pardon me. And so yeah, that's why I think this one's going to be a little bit shorter of a magazine flip through, because I'm late. Anyway, let's get started. So I just grabbed off the top of so I have my magazines separated into piles. You know, this magazine is a pile, this magazine is a pile, this magazine is a pile. So I just reached over and I grabbed the one on the top of my Annie's Crochet newsletter stack. And this is the one I grabbed. Is that crocheted? Oh my goodness, it is. How adorable is that? I didn't even look at this. I like that yellow set. That is really pretty. And here's the back. Okay, let's get into this. Let's see. Here, I think this is a little note about the picture on the cover. When you've got the best crochet there is, the cream of the crop, you won't want to waste any time whipping up what's inside. We've separated the cream of crochet for you this issue, and you're the richer for it. Good old-fashioned results come when you start with the best ingredients, and you'll find all fresh, grade A crochet inside. That's cute. Does it say when this is from? Oh, May, June of 1985. That's the year I was born. So I wouldn't be born for another May, June. Five more months. 4 or 5, depending if you go on May or June. Oh, I'm going right past everything. So this is called the Ladies Bundle Knot Sweater. It doesn't have like a little, oh yeah, no it doesn't, a little article about it or anything, but it's really cute. I like that. Like in my mind, I'm thinking like something white underneath it. I thought maybe it would say the yarn. But it doesn't. And it's really interesting because all it says for the materials, luster sheen, amount needed for size. And then underneath that it says how much for which size, how many yards you need, or ounces, I'm sorry, for each size. And then it says 2 5mm buttons, tapestry needle, hook size needed to obtain gauge, and that's all it says. So it does not give you a hook size or anything. So it's kind of like forcing you to do the gauge. And then it's really interesting that luster sheen. I don't know what that is. Is that a crochet thread? I think it might be, but I can't tell. But anyway, I like, oh, here's the whole thing is crocheted. Okay, so I thought just the top was, but no, it's the whole inside and out. That is so cute. So it says, no, it doesn't have a little write-up about it. And then we have a tennis racket cover. That's pretty cute. I bet it wouldn't take much to turn that into a pickleball paddle cover. And I'd leave it green for pickleball. Got a little ad. Okay, so here's the off the hook section. Answers to your crochet problems. Here's an interesting one. When I put granny squares together, how can I keep them from coming apart? Sometimes the first squares start coming apart before I get the item completely put together. Can you help? That's interesting. I wonder how she's putting them together for them to be coming apart so easy. It says there are 2 ways to join granny squares or any other crocheted pieces. You can sew or crochet them together. If you're going to sew your squares together with yarn and tapestry needle, here are a couple of methods to try. Place the straight edges together and work from side to side, weaving the yarn from one square to the other. This should be done with the wrong side of the squares facing you. Another way is to sew the squares together. Another way to sew the squares together is to whip stitch the matching stitches together. If you don't want your seams to show, use the same color of yarn. To get a different effect, you may want to use a contrasting color. The other method of joining your squares is to crochet them together with slip stitches, single crochets, or any pattern of stitches you desire. To do this, hold your squares wrong sides together, match the stitches of both squares, and work through both thickness of stitches along the outer edge. Make sure that you leave at least 4-inch yarn ends and weave both ends of the joining yarn into the squares securely. This should keep them from pulling out and coming apart. I wonder how she was, stitching them together for them to be coming out so fast and easy. Okay, so this is interesting to me because this happens to me all the time. So a really, really good example is that one of the tutorials I have been working on for When We're Gone is my little clothespin guardian angel, and that's thread. And then I was working on a block, an Afghan block I wanted to show you guys. And going from thread to the block was really hard because it's so easy to work your stitches tight on crochet thread and then go to yarn and it's like, that's super tight. Excuse me. So the question is, I hope you can help me. I make crocheted doilies, tablecloths, and bedspreads with crochet cotton. Now I want to make your yarn things and my stitches are too tight. If I use a big hook that doesn't work, now I want to make your yarn things and my stitches are too tight. If I use a big hook, the work doesn't look as neat as I would like. What can I do to overcome this? I read that question wrong the first time. It says the answer, changing from crochet thread to 4-ply yarn gives us all trouble. When you get ready to start a project with 4-ply yarn, it's a good idea to make a practice piece or swatch that is at least 4 inches square. You may need to change to a hook 1 or 2 sizes larger than the size called for. Once you have the gauge, make another swatch just to make sure you have adjusted your tension for the 4-ply yarn and that you can consistently keep that gauge. If this doesn't do the trick, you can change the way you hold your yarn. If you wrap the thread around your little finger 2 times, wrap it only once with the 4-ply, or maybe try not wrapping it around your little finger at all. Just practice until you become familiar with yarn and the amount of tension you need to maintain the proper gauge. I never would have thought of just changing the way you hold your yarn and or thread. So here's the next question. I'm working one of your patterns that is worked in single crochet rounds. The pattern states to mark the first stitch of each round. Why is this necessary? Also, what can I use to mark the stitch? Marking the first stitch of the round is really helpful because you will be able to follow the pattern closely and count your stitches. On large pieces, it's nearly impossible to keep up with the rows and stitches without knowing where your first stitch is. There are plastic stitch markers available, but the most popular stitch marker here at the attic is the small bobby pin. Just slip it in the first stitch and it stays in place well. It can be moved out of your way or to the next round easily. Paper clips and small, smooth-edged electrical clips. What's an electrical clip? Will also work. Some people use a piece of yarn. Use whatever works best for you, but be sure to mark those stitches so your items will come out just right. That question was cute. Oh, here's the write-up for the for this sweater. It says, when I saw this knot, I thought it would make up nicely with Luster Sheen yarn. So Luster Sheen is yarn. Into a lady sweater, says Linda. Linda, who learned to crochet only 2 years ago, began designing clothing a year ago. I enjoy crocheting and never thought I would design anything until I was dissatisfied with the pattern and decided to design my own. Linda and her husband Randy live in Texas and they have 3 sons, Ray, Jay, and Ricky. I can't show you that page because it's all the pattern for that sweater. Palomino pony. Ride 'em, cowboy. That is so cute. It says, my son loves horses, and when our neighbors had a colt born, I designed Palomino pony, says Jennifer of Texas. Jennifer's grandmother inspired her to get into crocheting, and after mastering the craft, she finds it a very relaxing hobby. Each creation is like painting a picture, and I can't wait to see what it'll look like. So I'm wondering, yeah, well, it says mane, head. Yeah, that is all fringe. So that whole head and the mane is yarn she pulled out, cut, and then you just fold it in half and insert your hook into the stitch you wanted it to work it around. Grab the hook, the loop of the strand that you folded in half, pull it through and pull the 2 ends through the loop. She did that for that entire head and all of that horse's mane. Could you imagine? That would take me, when I did that for a doll's hair one time, I was just like, this is nuts. Okay, so this is a little write-up for the racket cover. Oh, it says, Sue is a frequent contributor to Annie's Attic and says that as a designer, she just keeps trying to create new things. She has been crocheting since she was a child and learned from her mother. I enjoy the freedom of direction and like the variety of things you can do with crocheting, says the Coloradan. Aw, it's a ring bearer's pillow for the bride-to-be. I didn't see this on the cover. It's not on the cover. Oh, yeah, it is. It's right there. So here's the pillow. And the little write-up says, when asked to make a pillow for her cousin's wedding, Nola designed ring bearer's pillow. I tried a few published designs, but they just didn't appeal to me, admits the self-taught crocheter. Crocheting keeps me sane, she claims and adds. It also gives me enormous confidence in myself. Nola also likes to sew, cook, and collect rocking horses. Aw, that's cute. Okay, this is a daisy pillow trim and a round daisy doily. I gotta grab something to cover the pattern. But here's the pillow trim. And then here's the doily. It's very pretty. That pink and yellow really pop. It says, nice set. Oh, here's the write-up for the soda. The float. It says, when her granddaughter was saddened because her soda flower arrangement withered. What? Soda flower arrangement? It says, Eleanor designed Soda Delight to replace it. The Michigan homemaker has been crocheting for about 45 years, having learned from her grandmother. The mother of 7 and grandmother of 8 likes crocheting best, but also knits, sews, and does other forms of needle crafting. Color coordinate motifs. Geometric pillow. I like the idea of the tassels in the corner. So the little write-up says, Diane would rather make up her own crochet designs than follow a pattern. Her geometric pillow is an example of her creativeness. She says geometric pillow can be made up in any 2 color combinations to accent any decor. This native East Texan has been enjoying needle crafting since she was 10. But that's not 2 colors. That's 6 colors. Did I read that wrong? In any... Oh. I don't... Anyway. Woo, look at this. Oval cross-stitch rug. I don't know, just when I see something like this, the only thing I think of is my cat running, one of the 4, running and then just dive bombing on it and then sliding across whatever floor I have it on. So there's kind of no reason to have it. That's what I think of. Okay, so the write-up for the oval rug says, I decided to make oval cross-stitch rug to blend with my dining decor set. Since I use some of those designs as dresser scarves, says Donna of Texas. Donna finds crocheting very rewarding. She says she receives compliments on her designs and work, and people enjoy receiving... I just got a text. Compliments of her design and work, and people enjoy receiving her homemade gifts. Oh, wow. This is very pretty. This is called the Daisy Baby Afghan. A field of flowers is what it says. And then the little write-up says, Elaine created Daisy Baby Afghan in response to Annie's flower contest. Besides enjoying many varieties of craft work, Elaine says she likes hunting and fishing. I also like making things for people, says the Minnesota needlecraft designer. Elaine's mother taught her to crochet 14 years ago when she was only 8. Look at this. That is very pretty. I wonder if the flowers are made separate. Continued on page 37. No, it's part of the octagon, right? 6 sides, it's octagon. It's so cute. Okay. Oh, speaking of cute, look at this. Little Red. That is so stinking cute. It's got little different outfits. I love the hair. I want to find the write-up for that. It says, I have loved arts and crafts since first grade, admits Barbara of West Virginia. I would cut out cardboard dolls and design beautiful dresses with paper and colors, and sometimes colored facial tissue. Barbara taught herself to crochet only 4 years ago and designed Little Red, a crochet version of paper dolls. She did a good job. It's adorable. I wonder how she did that hair. Purse, handle, hooded coat, sleeves, shorts, dress, shirt, overalls. Aww. I don't see the hair. Oh, hair. Excuse me. Wrap Russ yarn around cardboard 16 times. Slide off cardboard. Tie separate strand 1 inch from each end. Sew to head, centering ties on each side with middle of hair over top of head. Okay. So, let me get closer. So you can see, this is what was wrapped around the cardboard, and then these are all the loops around, you know, one side of the cardboard and around the other side of the cardboard. So that's what makes the little curls, or little pigtails with curls, and then she just tied yarn around that side and that side. That's adorable. That's a really good idea. That's similar to what I did with my my homely Hannah, her bangs. Similar, not exactly, but that I like that. That's a cute idea. Ooh, here is the yellow part, the yellow the kitchen set on the cover. It says Burst of Brightness. Needlecraft lover Irma got her idea for Sunburst kitchen set from an Afghan. I just got to playing around with an Afghan pattern, and I came up with these designs, says the native East Texan. Irma is also an animal lover and lives in the country with her 15 chickens, 6 cats, 3 dogs, and 2 geese. I love this. Oh man, it's a little blown out, ain't it? What if I get it real close? Can you see the stitches? No, but it's very pretty. So it says placemat, hot pad, pot holder, coaster, and a napkin ring. I didn't see a napkin ring. Oh! I can't show the pattern. There it is right there. I didn't even see that. Okay, so pattern. Here's a little child's vest, and she looks adorable. Don't show the pattern. The write-up says, Carolyn Johnson says she made up a few crochet designs, but this is her first vest pattern. I used to sew, but taught myself to crochet 14 years ago when I was expecting my daughter, writes the North Carolina mother of 2. This craft lover puts her creative talents to work in a local bakery where she decorates cakes. Isn't that cute? I'd like to see it in a different color. It almost looks like a granny shells. Is there... I can't tell. Aww. This is very Easter colored. Let me... So the little write-up says, Jacqueline of Ohio designed hat wall hanging for Annie's flower contest. Your contests always inspired me to think of ideas that would appeal to others, writes the frequent contributor. Jacqueline also likes knitting and going to garage sales. Me too. The mother of 2 daughters and grandmother of 4 learned to crochet 4 years ago. Cute. And I will say that's one of the few times that I like a variegated yarn worked in the round. Only because I don't like the look of... This doesn't have it, but I don't like the look of... like when somebody single crochets back and forth or in the round, how the colors will like... They'll line up for a little bit and then they come off. Then they line up and... To me, that's just like... I'm not a fan. But I like that. That looks really good. Because I think I like it so much because my eye doesn't focus on trying to adjust the colors. It focuses on the white and the yellow and spring. Okay. What do we have? What the? A steering wheel cover. It says, quickies, crochet projects that make up in a jiffy. The steering wheel threw me off. I don't think I've ever seen a steering wheel like this. Does that show my age? I mean, I've seen, obviously I've seen these older steering wheels, but I've never seen one like that in the middle. I wonder what that's off of. It says AMC. That's, I know that, is that a brand? Dang it, I wish my husband was home. I think that's a brand of car. So like a Ford or a Chevy. And then it's like an AMC something. Or is it like my mind has just totally gone blank. Like a Ford Taurus. So would AMC be like the Ford or like the Taurus part? I don't know. Was that confusing yet? Here is a ruffled hair tie and a mailbox keychain and a spider. And then these are the last 3 little patterns. I don't see a write-up anywhere for it, but look at that. So I'm not 100% sure. It looks like, so can you see how the hair is kind of separated right there? So it looks like maybe the hair is ran through the back of this piece. Don't show the pattern of this piece. And then the yellow yarn probably goes, out the back and then back in to the front where you tie it. And then you run the hair probably through the loop of the yellow in the back. And then you just tie it tight around the hair. That's what I'm guessing. No, it's sewed to a hair tie. I was completely wrong. It says, with 2 strands of contrasting color held together, chain 45. Fasten off, tie a bow, sew to center of ruffle. Sew bottom center of ruffle to ponytail holder. Huh. This is cute. And then look at this little spider. Look at those little fake eyes. Like, what on earth is that? It almost looks like a bead with a bead in the middle. Some of the things they come up with is just funny to me. Okay. So I'm just looking at the back, the crochet pedigree I showed at the beginning. That is too stinking cute. I like the schnauzer. Let's see. That is it. Okay, that's it for today. Sorry. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.